This Thursday, February 27th, NBA Betting Picks edition of the NBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with promo code NBA SGPN to get a 50% deposit bonus of up to $1,000. We're also brought to you by Edge Boost. Earn up to $750 per month on your sports gambling transactions. Go to edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm, the leader in data-driven picks and props. Rhythm is giving away a $250 future and throwing a March Madness party. Just go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/party for all the details. One to the NBA Gambling Podcast, part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Thursday, February 27th, 5 games on the schedule here in the association. We'll get into all of it here. We'll recap briefly what we saw in the association on Wednesday night, and we'll give you our lock and dog picks, of course, and we'll wrap it up with our Underdog Fantasy entry for the Thursday night games. But joining me here, of course, on this episode, you guys know me as the voice of the Tennis Gambling Podcast, WNBA Gambling Podcast, MLB Gambling Podcast, which is right around the corner. More details to come. And, of course, here on the NBA Gambling Podcast. Shameless plug there, Scott, but what's going on, man?
Yeah, speaking of which, I'm exhausted. I was sweating out a tennis play like 8 in the morning today, so I was trying to watch that. I won, so I cashed my lock on the podcast, but it was definitely not easy. But yeah, I can't complain. Also a bit relieved, though, because we're going to talk about potentially recapping some of the games that happened yesterday. We have less competition because somebody remembered that they're a basketball player first and a podcaster second because Paul George shut down the show. So we have less competition in the marketplace. Are you a little bit relieved? I'm keeping the running joke alive, by the way, so just keep that in mind. But Paul George officially said he's going to stop podcasting, and had a decent game.
That was funny,
but it was. They lost anyway, but he played well. But
yeah, I saw it yesterday. He said, "Yeah, we're at 20 and 37. I think this would be the time for me, with about 25 games left, to stop podcasting and focus on winning." I can't believe he said actually focus on winning a championship.
That was the word he used, but I feel like that's what you're supposed to say. That's the media training that kicks in, because you're supposed to say championship as the main goal.
Yeah,
make the play-in's a pretty decent goal at this point too. Just saying, aim low.
I thought that was hilarious. Yeah, I would have keep myself. Let's at least try to make the playoffs first, and then see what happens from that vantage point. But no, he just said we're going to try to focus on winning a championship. Lo and behold, we probably won't see. I think Embiid. I think I mentioned this to you, Scott, for the rest of the season.
I don't think we're going to. I mean, we talked about that, and according to Shams an hour ago, they said that in order to actually play games, he needs an ejection in his knee every game.
Yeah.
So there's no point as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that he's done for honestly the regular season at least. But I said this on another podcast that I do. I honestly think that he might be done in Philly. But you and I have talked about this a lot. It's just that contract is probably impossible to trade because it's all fully guaranteed for one Joel Embiid. But the Sixers are a thing of the past. At least they have, Scott, the Eagles winning the Super Bowl to live off of for a few
they haven't
more
won
years.
Since.
Yeah, so
really the same amount. The Sixers have the same amount of wins as the Eagles after the Eagles won the Super Bowl. Fun fact. Same amount of wins.
Oh, that's funny. Anything from last night stuck out to you? Anything you want to get off your chest?
Well, Detroit keeps rolling. I was not shocked, though, that Boston ended up no-showing the game because they have Cleveland on deck for Friday, and Jaylen Brown didn't play, so that was expected. Once you looked at the actual scheduling spot, you knew it was a good spot for Detroit, and they got the job done there by 20. Team's good, though. Shout out to them. I've mentioned it before many times, but I'll say it again. Every single game, there is one quarter where the Thunder decide to end the other team's hopes and dreams. And they started the fourth quarter on a 27-7 run yesterday, and the game was over in about 5 minutes. So the Thunder are still messing around, and the Nets did a good job of forcing other guys to beat them. They sent a lot of bodies at Shea. Chet had a monster game, good for Chet, but the game was still close. So the Nets hung in there. Team ended up losing, but either way, point is the Thunder got by, but they had a massive run there. So for live betting purposes, the run's coming. I can't tell you what quarter it's going to be in, but the run's definitely coming. And the last thing I'll mention is losing a play that I had. I had James Harden under 26.5 points. He had 0 points in the first 22 minutes of the game, and he finished with 30. So that's how it went for me. He had 27 points in the second half. So that was the bad beat that I had there. Harden was unconscious in that third quarter, and he killed me. But there we go.
Yeah, I saw the dagger 3 that he hit at the end of the game against the Bulls. Kind of really felt like this time with the Rockets there that had when James Harden was with the Rockets, just absolutely just putting up 30 points within a blink of an eye. But yeah, you made just kind of going back to that Thunder and Nets game. The Nets could not miss from 3-point land through the first 3 quarters. It was just incredible to watch. But and that's a lot of credit. You mentioned this a lot of times that
they play hard.
They play hard. They play the full 48 minutes, and they just, again, it's just that one quarter that you run into with the Oklahoma City Thunder that they find ways to, buckle down on defense and pull away, and that they were able to. Didn't necessarily cover the 16.5, but they did win that game by 8 points to the Oklahoma City Thunder. So Rockets do get it done as well. 118-106. Life without Wemby. For the Spurs, continues to be a downward spiral. Kings get the victory by 17.
That was also a pretty fun part I'll mention, is that I saw a couple posts on Twitter about the Spurs. Like, yeah, they're falling apart. It's like, what did you think was going to happen?
Yeah.
Like, they're a bad team missing their best player, and they can't guard anyone. What did you think was going to happen? Of course they were going to fall apart. I feel bad for De'Aaron Fox. Shows up on a new team, and now he's just on the Kings again, basically. So
yeah, but at least going into next season when hopefully Wemby is back and healthy. All indications as of right now. I know we're still very far away from next season to even talk about that. But
I have no idea though. It's a blood clot situation.
It is, yeah.
That's weird to follow.
And those are the scary situations because we've seen that with other players. And for guys like Chris Bosh that dealt with, I think, blood clots as well. I think
he had to retire.
He had to retire. So hopefully that doesn't happen with Wemby. But at least we've mentioned this, that health is always the first and most important thing. And, with that type of situation for Wemby, like, you need to take all the time you can to make sure that you are right. So, hopefully they're starting that track for Wemby to get back to being healthy, let alone thinking about basketball right now. All right, Scott, before we do get into the games here for tonight, gear up for March with a March Madness, promo code Madness for 20% off in the SGPN store. Get in now before the promo code is done. Of course, with March Madness around the corner, the brand, one of the principles, one of the cornerstones of SGPN is first half unders. They have the first half unders t-shirt over there on the merch store. So make sure you cope one or get one. If you are also headed to Vegas for March Madness to hang out with the guys, I know a lot of the people from SGPN will be out there. So it'll be a great time for you to get those t-shirts and rock it. Again, 20% off of the SGPN store, but make sure you guys use that promo code Madness over on the merch store. All right, Scott, let's get into it here for tonight. Like I mentioned, short schedule here, but we got a few intriguing matchups. And we'll start off with the Golden State Warriors. They're in Orlando to take on the Magic. Warriors laying 5 points in this game with a total of 212. Looking at the injury report for the Golden State Warriors, Kuminga continues to be out for this team. Trace Jackson Davis is questionable with an illness. That will be it for the Golden State Warriors. For the Orlando Magic, Jalen Suggs continues to be out, and Cole Anthony is officially listed as questionable in this game with a left knee hyperextension. Mac McClung available for the Orlando Magic for what it's worth. Maybe we
is
get
there
like
a car on the court for him to
maybe
jump over?
Yeah, maybe we get a halftime show or something, or in-game dunk
instead of the trampoline dunkers. They bring in McClung to do a halftime show.
The Warriors have been very, very good with Jimmy Butler. They are starting to play well at the right time, defensively and offensively, led by one Steph Curry here. Scott, can they continue the momentum here on the road as a 5-point favorite in Orlando?
Yeah, so the line movement's a bit weird, though. It opened up at like 6.5. Now it's down to 4.5 in some spots. But I don't think Orlando can actually score the basketball. And when you're facing off against Golden State, who's playing real well defensively, I was not expecting the chemistry between Draymond and Butler to happen so fast. They're very high IQ players, so it makes sense in theory that eventually they would blend well and mesh well defensively. I did not think it would happen immediately. Like, I thought it was going to take some time, and they've just hit the ground running at this point. But they're playing great defense. Offensively, Steph's gotten back into form. The spacing's been good. They look really good right now. They played 3 games, I think, over the past week, and they won all 3 games by 20-plus points. So they've been destroying teams. The Magic lost to Cleveland by 40 in one of their last games, so they have not been playing well. But Orlando, the issue you run into, though, is that if Franz or Paolo has an off night, do they have a chance? And usually the answer is no.
Right.
And even when they do both have good games, they are still usually in some type of competitive defensive battle. So I think it's a bad matchup for Orlando. I find the line movement interesting. Yes, I know that Orlando is very good at home, but I think Golden State, with their current form, are just on a different tier right now. I think Golden State is a team that I think can win maybe multiple rounds. I'll say 1 round for now. I think Orlando, by the way, fun joke, they're 2 games under 500. First place in the division, which is an absolute joke. But point is, I see Orlando as a clear one-and-done team in the actual NBA playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
They should lose to whoever they play against. So I think there's a tier difference here. I'll go Golden State. I don't understand the line move, but I don't know if I actually care. Orlando's just not very good, and it's not their fault. They stood still at the deadline and did nothing. And their supporting cast offensively is kind of non-existent. I'll go Golden State.
Yeah, I mean, you take a look at Golden State over their last, 8 games. They've won 6 out of their last 8. They've won 4 straight games here. The last 3 games, they've won by 24 or more points. And yes, it's a good bit against the Kings, the Dallas Mavericks without AD, and the
Those are
Charlotte
2 playing
Hornets.
teams, though. Those aren't bad.
Yeah. And they've put up 126 plus points in 3 straight games. I think the more impressive part for me, Scott, has been how well they've been playing defensively. They haven't allowed more than 108 points in their last 4 games. They've held 2 other last 4 opponents to less than 100 points. They only gave up 102 to the Dallas Mavericks. So, defensively, this team has been really, really good. And I think that's something that you mentioned, that Orlando has struggled to score the ball offensively outside of their 2 guys. And anytime I talk about this Orlando team, if one of these 2 guys has an off night, it's going to be a very, very long night for this Orlando Magic team. And with Jalen Suggs continuing being out and just really inconsistencies from their backcourt, this Warriors team with the acquisition of Jimmy Butler has looked really good. So, I'm on the Warriors here. It's -5 right now. You mentioned the line movement. I don't really care. I think you have to prove me wrong. Go out and beat me if you can, or are kind of challenging the Orlando Magic here. But they're just in really good form right now. That's something that I don't want to get in front of right now for this Golden State Warriors team. Total sitting at 212 here, Scott. I think the play that would make sense for me, maybe you agree, would probably be the Orlando Magic team total under, but that's the only thing I would really have for the total. Do you have anything for the total?
That's where I'm at. I mean, the face-off earlier this month before the trade, when Golden State was reeling, they still won at home by 5. Orlando only scored 99 in that game. I think Orlando finishes with like 93 in this game.
Okay.
Golden State defensively has been great. And Paolo, since come back from injury, has really not been that good. He's been a little bit better lately, but truth is the efficiency is just really not there with Paolo over the last couple of months. So I am concerned that Golden State, with Draymond and with Butler, they have a lot of good defenders to throw at him and Franz. And I feel like Orlando doesn't exactly have a plan B for their offense besides Paolo, Franz, please do something. And Cole Anthony's also injured. I know a lot of Magic fans aren't big fans of Cole Anthony. At least on occasion, he can be a microwave scorer. He can give you some, I'd say, production off the bench. Or even with Suggs being out, it gives you something out of the backcourt. He might not play in this game either. They don't have many people who can actually put the ball in the basket. So, yeah, I think team total under for Orlando. I got them finishing in the 90s. I don't see them getting to 100 in this game. So,
yeah, I'm right there with you again. Until I see Orlando turn around offensively, somebody else consistently contributing outside of Paolo and Franz Wagner, I can't back this team right now. So, yeah, we'll leave it at that. All right. Before we get over to the next game on the schedule here for the Thursday night card, let me tell everyone of our friends over at Edge Boost. SGPN has partnered up with Edge Boost, the premier Visa debit card for bettors. An Edge Boost card allows you to avoid the hassle of having your card denied at the sportsbook, DFS sites, sweepstakes sites, racetrack, or the casino. Plus, you can earn up to $750 per month in cashback rewards for using your Edge Boost card. And you know your money is safe as the card is FDIC insured. The best part is no credit checks and it's completely free. Sign up today and use promo code SGPN so you can get better cashback rewards and instant tier 2 status. That's edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. Again, that's edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. I've been using my Edge Boost card over on Underdog Fantasy, and it's worked out very, very well. No hassle, no card getting denied. And again, I'm getting those cashback rewards as well. So make sure you guys get over there, edgeboost.bet. And we're also brought to you by mybookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet every sport, plus props for every game in the live dealer casino. MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of locations, it's easy to deposit in lightning fast payouts using crypto. Head to mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000 plus a $10 casino chip. That's mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN. All right, let's get over to the next game on the schedule. We'll go over to the game of the night here. The Denver Nuggets. They are visiting the Milwaukee Bucks in Milwaukee. Currently, as it stands, the Denver Nuggets are a 4-point road favorite here with a total of 240 to 240 and a half. Looking at the injury report for both of these teams, start here with the road team, the Denver Nuggets. Aaron Gordon is probable for this game. Jamal Murray is probable as well. Peyton Watson continues to be out for this team, and that's pretty much it. For the Milwaukee Bucks, Giannis is probable with the left calf strain, and Pat Covington and Bobby Portis, of course, with the team suspension for Bobby Portis. And Pat Covington is dealing with also a left calf strain who is going to be out. So Giannis is probable tonight, so expect all the stars to be out there for both of these teams. Denver laying 4 on the road here, Scott, with a total of 240 and a half.
Yeah, so I feel like most people will be on Denver in this game because of the fact that Denver's the better team, at least based on form. Milwaukee has not been playing well lately, ended up losing to Houston last time out. That game was pretty ugly. They fell short. Giannis has been playing, but there have been some, I'd say, inconsistent minutes with him since coming back from injury, and he's probable for this game. We'll see how long he ends up playing. Played 32 minutes in each of the last 2 games, played 19 against the Wizards, had some foul trouble there, but I think ceiling was like 25 in that game. So Giannis might not go over 32 minutes, but Giannis has been playing well. I think Giannis has a monster game tonight against Denver because I don't think Denver's paint defense is worth anything. But I think you're looking at a situation where I think Denver is still the better team. I think Joker's a matchup problem against anybody. And I do think that with Jamal Murray playing better lately, Porter Jr. has been shooting the ball well from 3 this season. Kind of cooled off a bit lately. Still playing well, though. Westbrook's back. They have more depth, as far as I'm concerned. Milwaukee, with Portis being out, it's a big loss, and I don't see many guys that I really trust in their usual rotation to score the ball. Dame's been streaky. I know that as in general, he can have a monster game. Him and Murray might end up trading a bunch of threes in this one, but I'll go with Denver in this game. Milwaukee could win it, but I don't like how they've played that much recently. And I think that with Giannis having basically a ceiling of 32 minutes based on the amount of games he's played over the last couple of weeks at this point, I think it's going to come back to bite him. I'll go with Denver. If Milwaukee won, I would not be shocked. I feel like this game could go either way, but I do think I trust Denver a bit more in crunch time. Yep. Milwaukee was playing well before that loss to Houston, though. But I do think that Denver is playing pretty well. They beat Indiana at Indiana. They've been good lately. That was a nice win there by 9. Give me Joker to do enough down the stretch to win the game. I don't mind Denver 1-10. I ended up taking Houston 1-10 the last game against Milwaukee. That was in Houston. This one's in Milwaukee. But I see Denver winning a close game. Give me Denver 1-10.
Yeah, Denver over the last 10 games, they've won 9 of the last 10 games, has Denver their second in offensive rating, just behind Cleveland over the last 10 games, and their net rating, they're the third best, only behind Cleveland and the Detroit Pistons, who we talked about. And they're starting to, number one, they're healthy is been the main part for this Denver Nuggets team, and they're starting to, I don't want to say build a chemistry, but they're looking like the team that, again, I think could possibly, if they stay healthy, that could at least get to the Western Conference Finals.
They're an inner circle team that can potentially win the whole thing. Would I pick Denver to win the whole thing? No. But they're one of those teams on the short list that you think can have a path.
Yeah. And again, their top 7-8 guys have all been playing well. Jamal Murray, I know he was dealing with a knee issue prior, earlier this season.
Been good
I don't know
lately.
what's yeah, he's been good lately. I don't just want to say it's something in the past, but Michael Porter Jr. also been a guy who's been shooting the ball well. He's been able to contribute on the offensive side, rebounding the basketball as well on the defensive side. So I think they're just a more complete team. I would expect a big game from Jamal Murray here tonight, just because, like you mentioned, he's been playing really well. But point guards have had a lot of success over the past couple of weeks, and frankly throughout the season against this Milwaukee Bucks team, because we know Dame doesn't play a whole heck of a lot of defense. And it's also telling, like we talked about, that not having Bobby Portis, you're probably your third best player, fourth best player, maybe, for this Bucks team. I mean, Giannis, Dame, of course, but I mean, I would probably put him up there as their fourth best player. So I'll go Denver here as well. It's just like the form they're in, similar to what Golden State has been able to do over the past couple games here. I think they can ride this momentum. Expect a big game from the Stars. Jokic, I think Jamal, like I mentioned, Jamal Murray has a big game here as well. So I'll lay the 4 here with the Denver Nuggets. You have anything for the total, Scott?
It's over a pass. I don't see
Yeah.
much defense being played, but you can argue maybe it's a decent live under game. First half's high scoring, game slows down late. That could be an option too. So maybe first half over would be a look, but I think Giannis, if you want to go for like points or anything, I really think he's going to have a monster game. If you want to go for somebody to back with Milwaukee, maybe if you want to go for some reverse correlation, Giannis like 35 points with Denver to win. I don't mind, because I think that Milwaukee's only chance is if Giannis has a great game. He should, but I think that Denver has a bit too much scoring depth. I think that's the difference. So give me Giannis with a monster game, but Denver to win.
I mentioned this, the Denver Nuggets in non-conference games this season, 16-6-1 towards the over, 72.7%. Adam asking if Giannis is unrestricted. I don't think so.
I mean, he's probable for the game, so it's not like he's even no injury diagnosis type of player. He has a designation. So it's a calf issue. Those can linger. He might maybe ramp it up to like 34 minutes, but I don't see him playing like an insane workload here. Maybe a little bit more, but he's been around 32 the last 2 games. Feels like Milwaukee's going to keep him there, at least in my opinion. So I'll go 32 minutes if I had to guess.
So yes, I was looking up his minutes logged over since the All-Star break. So it's been 24, 19, 32, and 32. So it seems like, at least over the last 2 games, that it's been the mark of 32. Maybe they push it to 34, 35 tonight, but until we see some official news about it, because they said that the U is going to be restricted some type of way, was Giannis. So that's something to keep an eye on going forward with Giannis for his minutes. Did see a note just come across for Cole Anthony. I believe it said, Cole Anthony knee went through shoot around to be a game time decision, if that matters, for Orlando Magic here tonight. Anything else for Denver and Milwaukee, Scott?
Not really. If you want to go for Giannis rebounds, he has had 12 plus in 3 of the last 4 games. He's had 14 plus in 2 of the last 4. So if you want to go for stuff like that, you can. I think Giannis points those worth a look. He's had at least 29 in 5 straight against Denver.
Yeah, that's a good look. And then he also has 12 rebounds and 18 rebounds in the last 2 head-to-head meetings against the Denver Nuggets. All right, let's get over to the next game on the schedule. We got the Charlotte Hornets. They are in Dallas to take on the Mavericks. Mavericks laying 9 points in this game with a total of 225.5. Injury report. Let's start here with the Charlotte Hornets. Seth Curry is probable. Trey Mann, Brandon Miller, Josh Okogie are all out tonight. And I think that's pretty much it. For the Dallas Mavericks side of things, of course, Anthony Davis, Daniel Gafford, Derek Lively, Caleb Martin are all out. Dwight Powell is questionable. PJ Washington is questionable for tonight. So keep an eye out for those 2 players for the Dallas Mavericks side of things. Charlotte coming in, catching 9 points, who have set NBA history in a negative way, I should say, with how many points they've lost by combined over their last 3 games. And I'll just quickly mention those numbers. 53 points to the Portland Trailblazers, 42 points to the Sacramento Kings, and they lost by 36 points to the Golden State Warriors. a few nights ago. So that they have lost 78 plus 53 is what, 131? So they've lost by
it's pretty tough to replicate.
131 points they've lost by combined over the last 3 games. NBA history, Scott.
I mean, I'm happy about it. I've been, going against Charlotte's worked out. I actually had Golden State laying the 17.5 personally because I just assumed they'd be up 15 at the half, and they were up by exactly 15 at the half, and they just dominated the game. Yeah, Charlotte's a joke, as they should be, because they're bad, and there's Cooper Flag waiting for him potentially. So they have to guarantee themselves a bottom 3 spot. I expected them to roll over a lot of bad teams, especially when you have a potential, I'd say, franchise-altering prospect in the draft. A lot of teams pack it in. Usually you wait till March, but Charlotte got a head start on that. So I know Dallas has been bad lately. They face off against good competition, though, facing off against the Warriors and the Lakers.
Yeah.
Pretty tough to do. I'm going to give Dallas props against the Lakers. They hung in there.
Mm-hmm.
They got their asses kicked early. They hung in there. That was a close game late. And then eventually they unraveled, but still, they gave it a good run in a very tough scheduling spot. I think Dallas kills this team. I feel like at the end of the day, the Hornets are a team that can hang around if their star players show up. But when you lose your last 3 games by 131 points, and you've lost 3 straight games by about 30 each, I can't back you. Give me Dallas, because at least I know that they're going to care about winning.
Yeah.
I'm sure Charlotte's front office is thrilled every time they get blown out of the building, because they're closer to getting Cooper Flag. So give me Dallas to get some, I'd say, frustrations out with a cupcake opponent on the schedule. Give me Dallas -9.
Yeah, I can't bet Charlotte.
Yeah,
for everything that we just mentioned.
If you do bet on Charlotte, you have a lot more guts than I do, because I can't do it based on current form.
Yeah, and this just feels like a game. Like, you take a look there, these last 3 games that we just talked about, like the shooting guard has had a lot of success, and it feels like a Kyrie 40-point game here tonight if they need that from him, because again, like we mentioned, defensively, they're not doing anything, are the Charlotte Hornets. Zach LaVine had a monster game against this Hornets defense.
He went off 8 threes in that game or something?
Yeah, 42 points, 16 of 19 from the floor, 8 of 9 from 3. That's probably the best efficiency wise, at least for Zach LaVine in his career. And then we saw what Steph Curry was able to do through 3 quarters against the Hornets. He finished the game with, he only had 15 points in that game, but he really didn't need to do much. I think that was a game against Dallas, if I'm not mistaken, where Curry had a good game. But this just feels like a game where either Clay or Kyrie has a huge game, and it's maybe done again in 3 quarters there. So, yeah, with all that being said, Mavericks -9 would be the only look I would have. As far as the total, Mavericks team total over makes sense to me. They've given up 128, 130, 141, 129 over their last 4 games. So I know Dallas is a little bit compromised on the offensive side, especially without Anthony Davis out there. But I think shooting the basketball, I think from beyond the arc, and if PJ Washington does end up playing in this game with Kyrie, Clay, I still think there's enough for them to have success on the offensive side. So that would be the look for me, Scott, as far as the total Mavericks team total over.
Yeah, that's where I'm at with you. Charlotte can't score, but they can't defend. So, yeah, I don't mind that.
Just curious to see what Kyrie's points prop is here for tonight. He's at 28.5. I mean, it makes sense, but again, I could see him walking into 30 here tonight. If you want to pivot to Clay or his threes, I think that would be a good look as well. I think Clay could shoot the ball well tonight against the Charlotte Hornets.
What did you say? What did you say his points were at, by the way?
For Clay?
No, for a Kyrie, because I found the 27.5 at -125.
I see a 28.5 on DraftKings.
Yeah. So if you want to pay 5 extra cents, BetMGM is 27.5.
Yeah. All right. All right. Before we get over to the next game on the schedule here, let me tell everyone about our friends over at Rhythm. Rhythm is throwing an epic March Madness party, and you're invited. All Rhythm users are invited to a first floor watch party Wednesday, March 19th at the awesome Stadium Swim at Circa Las Vegas. Free drinks, plus you get to hang out with the guys from Sports Gambling Podcast and the College Experience. And it gets better. Rhythm is also giving away a $250 March Madness future for one random lucky Rhythm user. Even if you can't make the party, you can still win the future bet. Just sign up for your 7-day free trial at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. Come by and use Rhythm to help you fill out your bracket and make some bets while you are there. A free party plus a chance at a $250 future bet. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/party for details at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/party. And last but not least, we're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. NBA, NHL, college basketball, whatever your sport, you can cash in with Underdog Fantasy Pick'em. Underdog is offering a Luka Doncic discount for every Lakers game for the rest of the regular season. Also, for football diehards, Pick'em projections for selected 40-yard dash times during this week's NFL Combine is available there as well. Let me see if they've dropped that Luka Doncic discount for the Lakers game tonight. Let's see here. Let me type in Luka's name. Not yet. I don't see it, but again, wait. Check for it throughout the day because there is a discount that would be placed for Luka over on UnderdogFantasy.com. And not only for tonight, but that's going to be for the rest of the season when the Lakers are in action over at UnderdogFantasy.com. So again, make sure you guys get over there. Use our promo code NBA SGPN to claim your special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Make sure you use our promo code NBA SGPN. All right, next game on the board, we've got the New Orleans Pelicans. They are visiting the Phoenix Suns here tonight. The Suns are a 8.5-point home favorite here are the Suns with a total of 236.5. Injury report. Let's start here with the Pelicans. Brandon Boston is going to be out for this game. Bruce Brown is out as well. Herb Jones, we know, is out. DeJounte Murray is out, of course, with the right Achilles rupture for the rest of the year. Kelly Olynyk is out tonight. He is designated with arrest for the Pelicans. For the Phoenix Suns, pretty clean injury report. Only two players on there, Cody Martin and Monte Morris. Suns laying 8.5 here at home. Total of 236.5, Scott.
Yeah, so I know Terrell would not be a fan of me playing the drop because the Suns' record isn't, I'd say, bad enough. I think it's warranted in this case, and Terrell's not here, so I'm going to play it. At least from a betting perspective, you wouldn't want to bet on either of these teams. But having said that, the Suns should not be laying 8.5 to anybody besides maybe the Hornets. Like this, yeah. I can't back them. They have a monster game offensively against Memphis, still lose the game. So they were able to keep it close, then they fell apart there at the end of regulation defensively, and overtime was a mess. Durant was brutal of the entire overtime. It feels like the chemistry is just non-existent with the Suns right now, and Durant's going to be leaving this offseason. It's not even a secret anymore. So you're looking at Durant, whose days are numbered there. Team is in free fall at this point. New Orleans has not been good all year, but you know what? They're healthy. They beat the Spurs in the back-to-back. They've been playing better recently. Zion's healthy. He's apparently slimmer now, down to 260. But I do think the Pelicans getting 8.5 have a chance to win the game. Yep. Why would I want to back Phoenix if I don't trust them to even win any games? Give me the Pelicans plus 8.5.
Yeah, I just haven't been able to figure out this Phoenix Suns team. I don't. They've not been very good against the spread, to say the least. Here, let me see if I can pull up their exact numbers
because
here.
Books keep giving them respect because they have Booker and they have Durant and they have Beal, so they're priced accordingly. Right. But the chemistry doesn't exist between them. They don't guard anybody.
Right. So 27-31 straight up this season for the Phoenix Suns. They're 20-37-1 ATS this season overall. That's 35.1%. And as a home favorite this season, Scott, they're 13-6 straight up, but they're 5-13-1 ATS. So maybe this would fit your 1-10, but do you think the Pelicans could win outright?
I think the Pelicans can win outright.
Okay.
I don't really want to bother with Phoenix because that implies I'm having any faith at all in Phoenix to outplay a team for 48 minutes. I can't do that. I understand the argument you're making, which is, New Orleans is terrible on the road. You don't want to back them anyway. At least they're kind of trending upward. It's a small amount of, upward trajectory, but at least New Orleans is like an actual basketball team. I don't know what Phoenix is doing. And Durant's making it worse because he's going public with all of these quotes, basically saying, I'm out of here. Who's that supposed to help?
Come on down to Houston. Come on down. We need you.
I think he might end up in Dallas. That's my hot take. But the point is, I do think that Durant's comments, I know that obviously the team is not gelling. Everyone knows it. It's not a secret. Yeah. But Durant's adding, I'd say, actual gasoline to the fire every time he speaks publicly on the issue. That's not going to help morale. Give me New Orleans plus the points.
So this is they play tonight and they play again tomorrow. Do these two teams. And I did another search here. Shout out to Killer Sports, killersports.com, a friend of Sports Gambling Podcast Network. If you're a person like me that likes looking at these trends as home favorites, ATS wise, I mean, it takes a little bit to figure out the kind of the verbiage and the algorithm, like words and stuff, but it's a very, very useful tool. So what I did, Scott, is the Phoenix Suns as a home favorite this season, when they play an opponent that has a winning percentage of under 500, like the Pelicans, 7-3 straight up. I'll let you guess what the ATS number is in that for those 10 games against team under 500 as a home favorite for the Suns.
How many games are we talking about again?
10 games. This will be the 11th and 12th, but they've played 10. They've played 10 teams as a home favorite, but their winning percentage for their opponent is less than 500.
I'm gonna say they are 2-8.
1-8-1. So you were pretty close there.
Right.
So
there's no way I could have gotten that right because there was a push in there, so I had no chance at all.
Yeah, but we'll just say that you counted that win as a push there. But yeah, look, they're winning games, but they're not covering numbers here, and so there's no way for me but to look for the Pelicans in this game. I think this could be a Zion game, honestly. If you want to look at his points prop, I wish they would just kind of take him off of his little minutes restriction, because he's been very good when he's on the floor. Like, he hasn't played more than 30 minutes, I think, all season long. So they're having him, not I want to say all season, at least over the past couple months. So he's been hovering around 27 to 28 minutes per night. But yeah, Pelicans for me here. I'm not gonna waste any more time. You have anything for the total?
It's over a pass. I'm not trust either team to guard anybody. I like the Pelicans team total over, though.
Okay.
I think it's my favorite play here. The Suns aren't even trying to guard anybody.
Yeah.
So I think that Trey Murphy could have a solid game. Zion could have a solid game as well. And Zion looks good. He looks really, really good. So it's a good sign.
Anything else for this game?
No, not at all.
All right, last game of the night. Another good one here. We've got the Minnesota Timberwolves. They are in LA to take on the Lakers. Lakers laying 6.5 here at home with a total of 229. Injury report. I'll start here with the Minnesota Timberwolves. Rudy Gobert and Julius Randle are both out for this game. Anthony Edwards has a questionable tag, and so does Dante DiVincenzo, who's been missing the past month plus, I should say. Maybe beyond that for this Minnesota Timberwolves team, but he has been upgraded to questionable. We'll keep an eye out for Anthony Edwards, but the expectation that he does play tonight. He's dealing with a right calf soreness, is Anthony Edwards. Lakers coming off of the quote-unquote emotional game against the Dallas Mavericks, which I don't understand why Nico Harrison was in the building for it, Scott.
He wanted the attention.
But okay.
That's the only explanation I have. Like, I don't know. Unless he's friends with Pelinka and you want it to be there for emotional support.
I don't know. It just didn't make sense. Like, you knew that he was going to get clowned on, and thank you, Nico chants broke out in the arena there.
Maybe he wanted like an origin to his villain arc. He wanted to witness it in person so he can remember this if things go well.
There was a picture somebody had, or I think one of the sports media's
with the Luka leaning forward with him in the background.
Yeah,
it's a hell of a photo. Tremendous photo.
It's a hell of a photo. All right, nonetheless, Lakers laying 6.5 here, Scott.
If Ant plays, I'll take the Timberwolves in this one. I think that it's too many points. See, it's a weird spot because the Lakers won the game, which is the most important thing. Was I impressed by the Lakers in that game? I have no idea, because they were up by a ton early. They let Dallas come back, and then eventually Luka and mostly LeBron kind of took over the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter. Did they look good? Not really, but they won the game, so that's all that matters, I guess. But Minnesota's been playing well. Crazy comeback in OKC. The main issue that I have with the Lakers in this matchup, they have no size, which we talk about all the time, because they have Jackson Hayes, who plays sparingly. They've been using Rui a bit more at center as their like small ball five. You got Naz Reid out there. That's pretty tough to deal with. You have Gobert being out, so that's definitely
Randall's
a
out as
solid
well. So
piece there. Yeah, but the point is, I just think that it's a good spot for Minnesota to keep it close. I think that Naz Reid is a good matchup. I think he's a very good player. DiVincenzo might come back too, give him some 3-point shooting there. Ant, I think, is going to be a matchup problem as well, but it should be a fun matchup with Luka and LeBron against the likes of, I mean, for the sake of this game, basically Anthony Edwards and Reed for this one. But I think that Minnesota can hang in there. I'm going to ask you, though, am I reading too much into it, or were you kind of, I'd say, a bit underwhelmed by how the Lakers looked as that game progressed? Because they won the game. They were leaking oil for the last 2.5 quarters of that game.
Yeah, and I think, like you mentioned, you got to give the Dallas Mavericks a lot of credit as well for keeping the game competitive. I think, what was it, like a 1-point game heading into the fourth quarter?
They tied it with like 4 minutes to go, and then the Lakers went on a run, but they were dead to rights of the first 15 minutes of that game.
Yeah, and Kyrie came out and played well. I think obviously a lot of the attention was on Luka and what he was going to do up against his former team in his first game back. But, when you talk about closers for this Lakers team, that's exactly what happened in that game with LeBron taking over down the stretch and Luka as well. So, I thought it would be more of an impressive victory, but I think you got to give a lot of credit to the Dallas Mavericks in that game for, keeping it close with about 3 to 4 minutes left there. This is the fourth matchup, I will say, between the Lakers and the Timberwolves this season. Lakers the Wolves have won 2 out of the 3 matchups. And they've covered 2 out of the 3 games as well. All 3 games previously this season have gone under the total, and it hasn't even been close, Scott. So final scores of the 3 games thus far this season: 110-103, 109-80, and 97-87. So hasn't even sniffed 215 points, and we have a total of 229. I would take the points here with you with the Timberwolves, but I think my more favorite play would be the under 229 in this game.
No, I agree with you. I think the under is my favorite play because even watching the Lakers play with Luka and LeBron together, they play slow.
Right.
So I think that's going to result in a slower paced game. Minnesota doesn't exactly play that fast either. I like the under too. If Minnesota's going to win this game, it's going to be ugly. It's going to be physical. So I see a close game coming down to the wire. Maybe Lakers 1-10 again, but I don't mind the under as well. Give me a low-scoring game. First team to 110 wins the game.
Yeah, Lakers second best defensive rated team over the last 10 games. Minnesota respectable right at around league average. They're number 14, so just a hair above league average as far as defensively. But that's all I got for this game. You have anything else for Wolves Lakers?
Not really. I feel like once again I'm picking an uglier game. Naz Reid though should have a solid matchup. I like Reid rebounds in this game.
Yeah, he's been really good in the absence of both Julius Randle and Rudy Gobert. Just the last couple games, I believe he's had double-digit rebounds in 4 of the last 5 games. He's been walking into 22 points here. And I think he's had a lot of success against the Lakers, not only this season but throughout his career. He's had 22 or more points in 5 straight games. So if you want to look at a rebounding points and rebound prop for Naz Reid, I think that could be a great look here. One more I'll mention here as far as player props in this game here, Scott. Jaden McDaniels, his rebounding prop when both Julius Randle and Rudy Gobert have been out has been a profitable angle for me. He's had double-digit rebounds over the last 2 games against the Thunder. He's had 8+ rebounds in 3 out of the last 5 games. His rebounding prop tonight is at 6.5 here, so I do like that for Jaden McDaniels. I did play that one. It was a little bit juiced at -130, but I think if we expect this to be I don't want to say brick fest, but slower pace game with more defense, I think that the rebounding opportunities will definitely be there in this game for these 2 teams. All right. 2 orders of business here, Scott. We got our lock and dog, and we'll put together our Underdog Fantasy entry here for tonight. You want to lead us off?
Sure. So for the lock, I was torn between Giannis and actually the under in that Timberwolves game that we just talked about. I got to figure out which one I want to go with because I think Giannis should have a very solid game, but that total is so high at 229.
Yeah, that was a game I mentioned, like Denver is like really, really, I think one of the best in non-conference games towards the over.
Yeah, I'll go with the under in that one. You mentioned 229. I'll take it at -110. I think it's a good spot. You mentioned before that dead meetings have been absolute rock fights this season. 3 meetings, none of them have gone over 213. You're looking at the Lakers defensively being very good. They've allowed less than 103 points in 4 straight. Minnesota had a couple high-scoring games against the Thunder recently, had a high-scoring game against the Rockets. Really a crazy first quarter. They combined for like 80-plus points, and the game slowed down after that.
Yeah.
But I see a physical game that comes down to the wire. I like the under. Ant might not play. So Minnesota's offense might have nothing in this game if Ant ends up sitting, and we're just wrong about the actual injury report.
Yeah.
Give me the under in that Timberwolves game as my lock at 229. For the dog, do I want to go for an alt on Giannis or something? Or do I want to go with the Pelicans? You know what? I think I'll do a parlay, actually, because why not? I'll go with the Pelicans spread with the Giannis points. So let me just quickly build that. You can get Giannis points at around, what is it? Okay, so 30 points is minus 120 for Giannis. And I'll throw in the Pelicans plus the 8 or 8.5. Yeah, plus the 8. That's plus 253.
Okay.
That's my 2-pick dog.
All right. All right. For my lock, I will just continue fading the Hornets defense and just take the Dallas Mavericks team total over 117 and a half is the number right now. And we mentioned it with this Charlotte Hornets team of how many points they've given up in their last 4 games. And look, I know it's been against better offenses and we're missing some guys, especially guys like Anthony Davis for this Dallas Mavericks team, but I still think there's enough for this Dallas Mavericks offense to have success against this non-existent defense of the Charlotte Hornets. And like I mentioned, the last 4 games, 128 to the Warriors, 130 to the Sacramento Kings, 141 to the Portland Trailblazers, and 129 to the Denver Nuggets. How they held the Lakers to 97 points in that first game back after the All-Star break is beyond me.
Well, the Lakers couldn't hit a shot.
That's true as well. But I do think that the Dallas Mavericks will have success on the offensive side. So I'll take their team total over 117 and a half as my lock. For my dog, couple of different ways we can go here. I'd like Kyrie to have a big game here tonight. I also do like Jamal Murray points, maybe a points ladder for him. So I think what I'll do is let me see what Jamal Murray is 25 plus. I think that would probably be the look for me. So I'll go Jamal Murray 25 plus points at plus 155 here tonight. Mentioned the Milwaukee Bucks against the point guard position have not been doing very well defensively. If you want to play his PRA to go over, I don't hate that, but I do think this is a game where Jamal Murray just has a really great shooting night and just continues to his ways of how well he's been playing basketball for this Denver Nuggets team, especially since All-Star break. And not only that, but over the last 10 games for the Nuggets. I only had a 55-point a game against the Portland Trailblazers. He had 34 against the Charlotte Hornets. But again, this is a game where I think he has a really great shooting night, so I'll take that. I also will be on Kyrie here tonight. I'll put his points ladder up. Maybe if he gets 35 plus, I think that's a good look as well. All right, so those are our lock and dog here for tonight. Let's do our Underdog Fantasy entry for tonight, Scott. Again, like I mentioned, look out for that Luka discount that they will be giving for the rest of the season anytime the Lakers are on the schedule. And then if you don't have an account already, don't know what you're waiting for, come join the fun. UnderdogFantasy.com. Use that promo code NBASGPN. You'll get a 50% deposit bonus up to 1,000 in bonus credits there. So again, go over there, UnderdogFantasy.com. Make sure you use that promo code NBASGPN. All right.
I already mentioned Giannis. I'm assuming you just want to use that to start.
Yeah, I don't hate that. You want to go like points, rebounds, or just rebounds or points?
Out of curiosity, what is the number for points and rebounds? What is that, like 41 and a half or something?
Yeah, 41 and a half, 29 and a half for points, 11 and a half for the rebounds. Which I kind of like the rebounds.
I was going to say, the rebounds feels low.
Yeah.
We'll go with the rebounds on that. Yeah. It's a very low number for Giannis.
Cool. All right, so we'll start with Giannis. I think we both like Naz Reid in some capacity tonight.
Yeah, I don't mind his points and rebounds too.
All right, so his is at 30 and a half. His double-double is at 1.12x on the higher.
Honestly, I think I prefer that.
The double-double?
He's had 11 plus rebounds in 4 of the last 5.
Yeah, we know the points are going to be there as well. All right, so we'll throw that in there. It gets a little boosted number there. What's left? We've got Charlotte, Dallas. Anything in Pelicans Suns you like?
I'm thinking about Zion, but I don't know if I actually like the number that's available for Zion.
23 and a half is the points prop for him, or sorry, the points projection.
Yeah, I'm just quickly seeing what his stats are. He's owned the Suns. Damn. Yeah, he's averaged 28.2 points per game in his career against Phoenix. He's had at least 29 points in 5 of the last 6 against Phoenix. So yeah, we'll just throw that in there.
Do you see the number of minutes that he's played in those games?
40, 37, 33, 39, 42, 37. So yeah, a decent amount of minutes there. Probably less this time around. But
yeah, which is adjusted because the number right now is at 23 and a half for him.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, not that the Suns guard anybody. Points, right? So
yeah, they don't have any rim protection either. I mean, Nick Richards is just the body out there. All right, I like this. So we'll go with this for tonight. So just to recap our Underdog Fantasy entry, we'll go Giannis higher 11.5 rebounds. We'll go Naz Reid double, the higher 1.12x. And then we'll go with Zion Williamson higher 23.5 points. That gets you to a 6.72x entry. But if you already have an account, they also have a 50% deposit, 50% profit boost for tonight as well. So I'm going to apply that to my entry. That'll get me to a 9.58x with that 50% profit boost. So if all 3 of these projections are in fact correct, that $10 entry will turn into $95.80. But again, if you don't have that profit boost, it's a standard 6.72x. For the entry here for tonight. All right. I think that's going to do it here, Scott, for the Thursday card. Short schedule, 5 games on the docket, but we'll be back, of course, tomorrow for the games on Friday. But definitely looking forward to the card tonight. Should be a lot of fun. Anything else you want to mention before we get out of here?
Not really. Should be, once again, a pretty fun overall card. I'm back tomorrow, I believe.
I think tomorrow's me and Lonte.
Oh, it's you and Lonte. Sorry, yeah, that's right. So, yeah, it's gonna. I forgot I filled in because you were sick. Yeah, so it's you and Lonte tomorrow. But I got a tennis show tonight, and yeah, that's it.
Sounds good. Make sure you guys follow Scott over on the Twitter machine at Reichel Radio. You can follow me there as well at SportsNerd824. More importantly, if you guys could do us a favor, hit that like button on your way out on the live stream. If you haven't already subscribed to the NBA Gambling Podcast YouTube channel, please go and do us a favor, hit that subscribe button for us. Help us grow the show here on YouTube. Yeah, like we said, we'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. So look out for us then. Till then, good luck with your bets. Let's break these books off, and always remember to let it ride.
Basketball, give me.